What's up, Taiwan? I'm Jaime Ocon with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. February 28th is Peace Memorial Day in Taiwan. This year marks the 76th anniversary of the 228 incident, and as Bing Wang reports, Taiwanese people are holding rallies across the country to remind themselves of the struggles they've overcome.
A rose for the victims of a brutal turning point in modern Taiwanese history. This is one of many rallies happening throughout Taiwan today, the 28th of February, when people here commemorate what's become known as the 228 incident. 76 years ago, the ruling Kuomintang, or KMT, brutally suppressed anti-government uprisings across Taiwan, killing tens of thousands of people in just a few weeks. This is a flashpoint of where it all started. Government forces struck a lady trying to sell illegal cigarettes and then fired a bullet into the air, killing an innocent bystander. And as the crowd became angrier, louder, the government tried to shut down the protest with violence. That led the KMT to enact martial law for 40 years, a period known in Taiwan as the White Terror. In that time, any mention of the 228 incident could get people thrown in prison. Even rallies like these would have been quickly and sometimes violently dispersed. But now people have the right to freely demonstrate and make their voices heard.
我觉得台湾的民主算很年轻，但是我们一直在正确道路上面发展。
你看我们像现在可以投票，其实过去我们很难想象在白色恐怖时期，我们不能投票，我们不能自由的出门，然后可能要面对很多的言论不自由。
In the southern city of Tainan, President Tsai Ing-wen reiterated her commitment to a democratic Taiwan.
今年1月成立的全力维护基金会，在几天前完成首批审核的作业。这是政府首度全面以赔偿，而不是以补偿的态度，诚心修复不法的侵害，让台湾人尊严的活，是纪念228最好的方式。
Taiwan has shed its authoritarian past to become one of the freest democracies in Asia. The country now wants to ensure this dark period in history won't be repeated or forgotten. Howard Zhang and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's military on Tuesday reported 14 Chinese warplanes operating around the country within 24 hours. China has significantly increased its military presence in the region, with reports of hostile interactions with other countries like the US and Australia. Well, for more on how these actions jeopardize security and risk causing an incident, I spoke to Tom Corbin, a defense analyst at the United States Study Center in Sydney, Australia. Why are we seeing a kind of uptick in aggressive Chinese actions in the region around the Taiwan Strait?
I think when China sees US actions in these spaces, it sees these as quite provocative. Sometimes the outrage that we see from the Chinese government to these things is kind of manufactured in a way that amplifies that outrage. Part of it is also legitimate outrage based on what China sees as its core interests and what it believes to be its sovereign interests in this case. I think the important thing to note here as well is that the countries who are experiencing this kind of behavior are now probably more incentivized to share information about when this does happen. There's kind of been a shift in position on the part of the US and its allies in the region to publicize this sort of behavior more broadly, to spotlight Chinese bad behavior or malign behavior. Whether or not this is going to stop it, I don't know. I don't think it will. A bit more thought has to be put to what you do operationally to try and ensure that these things don't spiral out of control into a crisis if something goes wrong.
There's been an emphasis on allies and partners in the region to sort of provide this extended deterrence in Asia to prevent a conflict from happening. Can you kind of talk about the significance of this?
The military buildups that we're seeing amongst America's allies and partners in the region are primarily justified on the basis that they want to deter a conflict from occurring in the first place, which, if you unpack that a bit more, means that they want to deter China from seizing by force land features or territories in the region that, as I said before, it perceives that it has kind of sovereign jurisdiction over, or that it has historical claims to in the case of the South China Sea. But that said, if you're going to invest in a strategy of deterrence, you also have to be willing to countenance the possibility that conflict may eventually erupt, i.e. that deterrence may fail. So you're not seeing investments in capabilities purely for the sake of showing partners or adversaries in the region that you have a big military and that you can spend a lot. There has to be a smart investment.
That was Tom Corbin, Research Fellow at the United States Study Center in Sydney, Australia. The government says it wants to clean up Taiwan's famous night markets, but a plan to make them more sanitary and eco-friendly has had mixed results. As Jean Van Trieste reports, officials are now thinking about how to get the markets on board.
Night after night, all across Taiwan, heaps of trash pile up on street corners and in parking lots. These spots are home to the country's hundreds of night markets, where crowds browse and snack on street food late into the evening. But this creates a lot of waste, from straws and plastic cutlery to paper cups and bamboo skewers. The government is urging the markets to tidy up. It wants them to sort their trash, cut back on plastic, and bring in reusable utensils. It also wants markets to treat wastewater, install ventilation, and keep public toilets clean. In some places, like around Taipei's famous Shirley Night Market, local leaders have been receptive.
有个构想就是每个摊商都准备垃圾袋，第一个就缩短了垃圾落地的情况，也和市环保局来讲是说，我们统一集中在同一个时段来把垃圾清运掉。
But officials say many markets haven't improved. They're now considering implementing a carrot and stick approach, though they haven't decided on the specifics.
除了这个好的我们鼓励之外，不好的我们会把它点出来说哪里是需要改进的事项。那我们希望说，这样子对于这些夜市呢，能够有督促的效果。
Markets in some areas are finding it hard to follow all these measures, especially the ones that require bulky equipment.
北部的夜市多数都是用在公共场域上，可能是马路边或者是在骑楼下，硬体在建制上面它是比较困难的。中南部很多入选的这些夜市，他们多数是私人的场域，他自己的空地，所以他可以建制比较好的一些硬体设备。
The Environmental Protection Administration says it will meet with market organizers and local sanitation officials to discuss a way forward. The administration hopes that after 3 years of slow progress, its campaign to make markets cleaner and greener will pick up momentum. Patrick Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Now for some international news. The UK and European Union have reached a preliminary deal on a post-Brexit trading agreement for Northern Ireland. The deal would remove, quote, any sense of a border between Britain and Northern Ireland, which is also part of the UK. Parties that support Northern Ireland's place in the UK were initially concerned Brexit would isolate the region from the rest of the country. Others feared a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland would jeopardize a decades-old peace process. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak still needs to win the support of British MPs. Sunak described the deal as a decisive breakthrough.
Today's agreement delivers smooth-flowing trade within the whole United Kingdom, protects Northern Ireland's place in our union, and safeguards sovereignty for the people of Northern Ireland.
The White House has given U.S. government agencies 30 days to remove TikTok from federal devices and systems. The directive follows a December vote in the U.S. Congress to ban federal employees from using the Chinese-owned video app. Washington says national security concerns are behind the move. ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok, says those fears are driven by misinformation. It says it is not using the app to spy on Americans. On Monday, Canada also announced a ban on TikTok on government-issued devices. It cited an unacceptable level of risk to privacy and security. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with the images of a family of bongos. That's a type of African antelope at Taipei Zoo. I'm Jaime Ocon. Take care and see you next time.